Hello, this is your host Kwame Logistics. Welcome to today's episode of DePee 247 Sports, a show concentrated on enlightening our fans on sporting issues and trends. To keep up with the show and what's coming up, kindly subscribe onto our social media platforms and pages on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and let's have an engagement on the sports that we all love and cherish. Today's topic is concentrated on the players and managers falling out in various football clubs. We have taken it upon ourselves into compiling various causes of conflict among players and their managers in high profile sporting environments. First of all, we ask ourselves why teams spend so much on players and managers and bringing them into the assemblement of a team, and shortly afterwards they fall out and bring so many tensions into sporting. We often ask ourselves, fans and audiences of the game, that what really triggers players and managers to fall out. We all know that teams, especially club owners and CEOs, often invest a whole lot of amount into bringing a coach or a player into a sporting team to achieve their sporting target. But often players fall out with their managers, and we are delving today into those issues. What causes players and their managers to fall out? Number one, in our research that we compiled, is ego clashes and player power. We all know that some players are being hailed in their teams as gods, demigods, especially Francesco Totti at AS Roma some time ago having issues with his coach Luciano Spalletti. So some players in teams have very, very high power in the teams that they call shots. And in regards, some coaches also find it very, very intimidating for a player to be given such power. These issues sometimes bring tensions among the coach and the players. So it becomes a problem for management to solve. In AS Roma, for instance, when Luciano Spalletti was clashing with Francesco Totti, issues rose to a point where coach has to drop the talismanic captain from the side, and Francesco Totti, knowing his image in his club and the power that he have in the team, didn't take it so well. He had so many clashes with the coach Luciano Spalletti, who cited that the player wasn't fit at the moment to be implemented in the squad. The coach dropped him from the starting 11, and the player was very, very furious. So one of the causes of the players falling out with their managers in these sporting teams is their ego clashing with their managers, and the players sometimes giving authoritative power in the sporting club. And also, tactical disagreements and poor performances often triggers players to having their clashes with their managers. Notable example is Luis Van Gaal at Barcelona, when he had a whole lot of issues with some players, notably Joan Riquelme from Argentina and Rivaldo from Brazil. The coach was in disagreement with the players because of the roles that he assigned to the players on the pitch. Roman Riquelme wasn't comfortable with the coach implementing him in specific positions on the field, notably on the left side in attack, where the player incited that he is not a left winger. The coach, Luis Van Gaal, at that point didn't take it so well. Clashes and tensions arose between the two personalities, and one has to be sold. So later, Barcelona sold Roman Riquelme. It also happened between Luis Van Gaal and Rivaldo at Barcelona in 1919, when the Ballon d'Or winner also cited that due to tactical differences and some tensions with the manager, he had to leave the club because the coach Luis Van Gaal, I said, wasn't comfortable with him playing in his favorite position, number 10, due to his work rate. And also, poor communication and trust has also been a factor for players and managers falling out in sporting clubs. When Pep Guardiola was brought in as a Barcelona coach in 2008, he had so many issues with high-profile players, notably Samuel Eto'o, the Cameroonian international, cited that he wasn't comfortable with Pep Guardiola's communication skills, whereby he can't confront top players with the issues that he have with them. This amounted so much tension between the coach. Even after an impressive quadruple win for Barcelona in 2008, Samuel Eto'o was shipped out of the door from Barcelona in 2008 and later joined Jose Mourinho's Inter Milan and won another treble in Italy. Players, some high profile players also find it very, very difficult taking their time on a bench. This has resulted in so much conflict and tensions among coaches and managers. Some managers find it intimidating to drop some players. Some managers find it so freely to bring in young chaps sometimes. And these high profile players sometimes don't take these decisions into account at all. In 1998, for example, Ruud Gullit, Newcastle manager, dropped star player Alan Shearer, and it became so much of an issue at Newcastle United. And also, when Eric Ten Hag dropped Cristiano Ronaldo from the Manchester United setup, citing that the player wasn't fit and he has to be given limited time on the pitch. The high-profile Cristiano Ronaldo didn't take it as so, saying that the coach has disrespected him and he doesn't deserve to be on the bench. So when players are given limited time in the selection and the match day squad, they find it very, very intimidating due to their ego and high profile names that they have in the game. They find it not conducive for them to be sitting on the bench. It has happened in various sporting events, but Cristiano Ronaldo was a very, very high profile issue that he had with Eric Ten Hag. He wasn't really happy with the incident. He left the club afterwards, and Eric Ten Hag cited that Cristiano Ronaldo's departure wasn't a problem for them because after he leaving, they managed to win 2 trophies, which was a very successful tenure for him at his reign at Manchester United. Another issue that triggers players and managers to fall out is how the managers bring their man management styles. Man management skills from some top managers often collide with high profile players in teams. Notably, when Raymond Dominic, the French coach, in 2010 had an issue with Nicolas Anelka. Uh, the man management skills of Roman Dominic was seemed to be very authoritative, and the players didn't take it into account. And Nicolas Anelka was reported to uh, throw an insult and some foul words onto the coach, and it didn't end well at all in the French camp. John Terry and Andre Villas-Boas at Chelsea also a testament to man management skills. When Andre Villas-Boas decided that the top players in the team should be flying economy and the young players in the Chelsea team should be flying the first class seats. The senior players in the Chelsea team setup, John Terry, Frank Lampard, and Didier Drogba weren't happy with this man management style from Andre Villas-Boas. They confronted the manager, and issues and tensions arose between the player and the manager, and henceforth the manager was sacked. But John Terry later cited that it was due to bad performances and bad results from the players, which rose to the coach being sacked, not the play, not the issue that amounted when they were boarding a flight to Asia for their preseason. The players, the senior players, being told to sit in the economy flight where they didn't take it so well on their part. John Terry brought that issue away. But we all know that their relationship between the manager and the coach became very, very frantic after that incident. And also, we can also talk about external pressures and bad results and media scrutiny causing tension between players and managers. This has caused so many issues among players and managers, notably when Alex Ferguson was having an issue with David Beckham due to bad results. He had clashes with David Beckham due to his media influence and high profile living. Ferguson didn't find it conducive for a player of such to be in his dressing room. He threw a boot at David Beckham in the dressing room, and this incident caused a whole lot of tension between Manchester United manager at that time, Alex Ferguson, and star player David Beckham. Henceforth, the following summer, David Beckham was shipped out to Real Madrid, and Mourinho was also in confrontation with Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Siemu Tanguy Ndombele at Tottenham Hotspur when the player was criticized by his manager for bad performances, and so the manager Jose Mourinho also dropped him from the starting line, and the player came into limelight, citing that the manager didn't like him, and whatever he does is not into good regards with the manager. So he wasn't really happy. Tanga and Dembele and Mourinho had so many clashes at White Hart Lane at the time, and Mourinho had to resign from the club, and Ndombele later was also shipped out from Tottenham due to bad performance. The media screen, the fans were agitating that the player doesn't give enough, and so he has to be expelled from the club. So external pressures from fans and media can also trigger the coach and the player to be having issues, and some tactical performances, as I said, also triggers this. Mourinho has had tactical differences with some players, also notably Paul Pogba at Manchester United. Mourinho cited that he has a low work rate in the team, so he has to up his performances, and this wasn't in good regards with Paul Pogba having so many issues with his manager Jose Mourinho. Mourinho also had issues with Luke Shaw due to tactical differences. He had issues with Samuel Eto'o at Chelsea due to tactical differences. So tactical differences and poor performances are also a factor for players and managers to fall out in these high-profile teams. Poor communication. We cited earlier Pep Guardiola having issues with Zlatan Ibrahimovic was also a factor for tension at Barcelona when the player cited that Guardiola's communication skills to his players was a problem that time, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic didn't take it into good regards, and he has so many issues with it. For tactically, he cited the coach is very bad. His poor communication and trust brought so much tension among them with other high profile. But Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a mouth talking person. He came out talking to the media about this issue, and so we have really gone into an aspect of players falling out with their managers and the consequences it sometimes arises in these football clubs that we follow. So the rate at which this player and managers falling out is becoming alarming. Recently, Mohamed Salah falling out with his manager at Liverpool, Arne Slot, and Benicio Junior also falling out with Xabi Alonso. So we, as a sports network, we found it compelling into delving issues and finding out the root causes of this player management tension in this club. So these are some of the issues that we brought up. We hope that our fans you have been enlightened and educated on this topic. Whenever a player falls out with his manager, you probably have to be looking up to the causes that we have listed in our show today. So kindly subscribe onto our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and keep up to the show and expect the best from us. Thank you. Goodbye.